Hey, welcome to Witching Hour Tarot. I did actually record last night. I think it was a Monday night. Yeah, obviously today's Tuesday. I haven't posted it yet. It was kind of my most aggressive reading that I've gotten thus far. It's been really interesting kind of just to see what's going on with the collective and how things have been playing out. There was a lot of betrayal energy in my last reading, a lot of confusion, illusion, and kind of just like the need for rest and rejuvenation on someone's part. Everything, I wanted to title it Everything Comes Out in the Wash. Like the truth is eventually revealed. You just kind of have to take your time along the way and don't get too enmeshed with the wrong types of people. So, I was feeling good. I feel rejuvenated. I had a really nice long weekend on my part. I did take this Monday off from my day job, which was really nice to just have that time and relax. I kind of have to, I feel like I have to relax at least like once a weekend. Otherwise, I'm traveling. Everyone's so busy. So I definitely prioritize that. My rest and rejuvenation. I think it's really important, especially for feminines and feminine energy. Like I do think that we emit more energy than males tend to. Like I think that males can sleep 6-7 hours and be fine. Like I personally feel I need 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night, and if I don't get that, I get exhausted. But anyway, let's see what's going on in the collective. I hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. It is March at the end of this week, so spring is coming. It does feel like the first days of spring here in Northeast United States. It's been a very cold, frigid winter. And the spring energy is also fire energy. So Pisces is the time of when spring starts, and then it comes into Aries. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. Or maybe it's just full Aries. I think it's actually just completely Aries when spring starts. So it's a very initiating energy. And it's really awesome because you kind of see, I love when the first couple of weeks of spring, you see those buds start to come out from trees, and cherry blossoms and magnolias and forsythia are some of the first trees to bloom. In the spring, tulips and daffodils. And so I just love how they just kind of just pop up. Maybe it's a slower process than that, but it's just we've been in a dull winter, and then you just start to see these beautiful colors come out, mid-April or the end of March. So, and it's very fire initiating energy. It's spiritual. Everything that cyclical energy is very spiritual to me. All right, let's see what's going on. Strength. Yes, this is a great card. This is Leo energy, so it is that fire energy, except for it is at the end of summer, or I think Leo is actually a fixed sign, so it's full-fledged summer during that time. There doesn't have any fall, it doesn't have any spring, it's just full-fledged summer. So very strong fire energy here with strength as well. This is obviously, very indicative. I don't know this backstory exactly. This deck, I love this deck. I got it recently, but I have yet to read the actual guidelines. So I just kind of use my general interpretation. But this deck has to do with classical folklore throughout the world. I believe this is some sort of Scottish folklore. I don't know if this is Rhiannon. It might be Rhiannon. That is a great reference in that Fleetwood Mac song, and this is some sort of siren, I believe. I think I did actually read this once, one time. But Rhiannon might be relevant, that Fleetwood Mac song, but even that her as a fictional or historical figure, she was riding, she fell in love with the prince, I believe. I don't remember exactly, but there's very strong feminine energy here too with strength. very resilient. Reminds me of the movie My Girl, where she drops the fish at the carnival and then she picks it up and the fish is just fine. She's like, oh, fish are very resilient animals. As she's spying, I think, on her father and her new relationship. Like, there is an innate resilience to someone here. Like, someone can handle any sort of situation that's thrown at them. Rhiannon's a really good example, and she, I think, fell in love with some sort of prince, and she was like a mythic, like a witch almost. But I love that name, Rhiannon, as well. Scottish, you could be Scottish. You could like emerald a lot. You could have red hair. You could love the ocean with the siren here. You could like Greek mythology as well. Sirens do arise from Greek mythology. Eight of Swords. Yeah, so we've been seeing the Eight of Swords a few times in my readings, and this card is all about like self-victimization, like kind of being stuck in your own cycles, your own karmic cycles, and then also self-pity and victimizing yourself. Swords are air energy, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius here with Strength. There's definitely a positive. The Strength's a very nice card to have out here. Eight of Swords, there's some victimization energy here, feeling bad for yourself, self-pity. There's a lot of shame as well. Someone feels very shameful. And so it's interesting. Shame is such an interesting emotion, and I read this article a while ago about how shame is one of the first emotions that babies develop. And it's in the first 6 months that they start to have this feeling of shame. And it has a lot to do with the contact that they have with their mother. So, for example, if a baby cries and the mother doesn't console the child or comfort the child, that child will then feel shameful, neglect. And what comes from neglect, like shameful, I am unloved, So someone could be dealing with really deep wounds of shame and not really know how to overcome it. Two of Swords. So we've been seeing this card tons as well. This is like being the master of your own devices. There is having choices as well here, and also being quite decisive about the choices that you have, but then also having all the resources that you need. Six of Coins. So this is a card of generosity, of being able to give back to your community. You can see that she's kind of been harboring these six, I think there's some sort of dung beetle, and then she's letting them go back in the wild. So maybe she's nursed them back to health, or she collected them, and who knows? She's breeding them. It could be anything. It could be anything. Could be also very relevant too. Is that we tend to kind of compartmentalize people into this little jar, like this woman is like this woman is, for example. Sorry, I just heard a loud noise in my hallway and I just got a little distracted. So like this person is I can't pronounce it now. She's putting her in a box. So like we tend to put people in boxes all the time. Compartmentalize. 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 Sorry, it's just a verb. Like we don't really say it that. Or you put it in a compartment, right? compartmentalize, yeah. My verbiage, oh my god. So like we tend to put people in boxes too, and so like maybe we don't think someone is generous enough, or maybe we think that, you know, someone doesn't have what it takes to be compassionate or be empathetic, and they can be quite empathetic and they have that capacity for sure. There's a generosity here with all of this, and it's just it's very complicated energy, and it's hard to kind of, it's also very difficult to just interpret tarot without using specific life examples. And I try to not use my specific life examples, but everyone has their own story. The Chariot. Yeah, so this is positive energy. This is like moving forward, full speed ahead. This is some sort of love story in this folklore. I did actually read this. I have just forgotten. And I believe this prince was born to fishermen, or born to like a fisherman and princess, something along those lines. Then he ended up conquering the sea and whatever might have happened. But there's definitely an essence of swiftness here, of confidence as well. And that's the thing, is like, it's really hard to overcome situations where your confidence and your judgment has been stripped from you. And the only way you can sort of escape those feelings is being alone. So with that being said, like, someone definitely has developed the confidence and knows that they're generous, knows that they have the resources and the mastery, and also knows that the strength that they carry to move forward. But there's definitely this essence of having to deal with very intense feelings of shame and self-pity and victimization, being subject to your environment and, you know, out of your control. But then it just makes you stronger. It just, the whole situation just makes you stronger. So and the thing is too, is that when you carry these immense amounts of shame, you still look like this to a lot of people. They kind of just see you as a timid person, like, don't put baby in a corner kind of vibe. And as you find your way in the world, you really do realize that you have all of the right resources, and you're just as good, if not better, in navigating it all than anyone else. And the thing is too, is like, people with struggle really does make or break a person. Really nasty people have tended to have a really kind of, I don't want to generalize, actually. I'm not going to generalize. I'll just move on. When people don't go through really traumatic situations, they don't know how to empathize with people who have. They can listen and like be subjective to it, but then the same types of people who maybe they felt loved by, you know, everyone around them all the time, and they've, you know, they just have a totally different experience than this and how they've been raised. But I think this is also very relatable. Like, each card is very relatable for the human experience. So no one has a right to pass judgment on anyone. And if you feel like you do have a right to pass like a negative judgment on someone, you should just take that negativity and focus on yourself. Because it has nothing to do with you, how someone might be acting or feeling, or it really has nothing to do with you. But do you care enough about the situation? Do you care enough about the relationship to take it deeper? Someone does here with the Chariot and Strength. and the Six of Coins. But they're also like, you can't get anything past this person. Like, you can't get anything past this person, and if you try, just be cut down. So people think they can pull think that you're this timid thing, and they can pull the wool over your eyes, or you won't stand up for yourself, and like, meanwhile, you're just taking it all in. So let's see what clarifiers we have with this. Ten of Pentacles. So there's generational wealth here. There is everything you can want and more in terms of the material world, the perfect home, the perfect, just lifestyle, just everything you could want, especially with strength. And you're going to get it too. Like, there's an award system here with strength and Ten of Pentacles. King of Cups. So this is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. This is water energy. This is a very charismatic king. This is someone who's able to work a room. These are, very elusive too as well, very mysterious, but also very high EQ, like able to get along with tons of different people. And maybe because someone's had these types of experiences, they're also able to empathize with basically anyone. They can see kind of anyone's perspective and just like, even if there's a whole other world. Like, I have this example of I was studying abroad in China when I was 20, and I was waiting at the bus stop with my school group, and there is this, like, they have a lot of migrant workers in cities that come from the countryside in China, and it's a huge kind of issue as well. There's a lot of sort of classism with migrant workers and all that kind of stuff. And so this gentleman was sitting down, or squatting down, actually. He wasn't even sitting, he was squatting, waiting for the bus, and he was holding a baby in his hands as well. And he was just, just kind of chilling there. And then like me and my friend were also chilling next to him. And as he's just like holding the baby's shoes, these little Crocs, they fell off. And it's like kind of an awkward moment too, because like me and my friend are like looking at the baby and the shoes fall off, and like I think he was carrying like a bag in one of his other hands and the baby in the other, and like kind of like this, and squatting down, like totally other level. And my friend just kind of like, she was from New Jersey, and just kind of like she used her foot and like pushed the shoe closer to the person so he could grab it and put it back on. And then that's when I squatted down and just put the shoe back on the baby myself. So that's like a totally different person than who I am, a migrant worker from China, a man who was carrying his child and a bag of whatever on his other shoulder. I'm just using that as an example for like someone who has that type of capacity, like not just, socializing with their own type of person, or like birds of a feather. I find there's also tons of xenophobia, probably all the time, but even in modern time, like on the internet, you see all these kinds of pages, or just like, reels or whatever, like, oh, like men from here do this and women from here do that, and like if you're not from here, then like you're not it. Like it just like very kind of like a xenophobic back like logic for these types of reels. And like it just like they're entertaining, and that's part of the problem, is they're very entertaining. But it's also just like no, like just because you're a certain nationality, or just because you're a certain religion, or just because you're a certain socioeconomic class, like it does not mean that you're better than anyone on this planet. Like everyone alive now and forever, they're going to die. Like the Egyptians said that death is the best thing that could ever happen to you. Like everyone on this planet is going to go on the ground if they're lucky. If they are lucky. And some people aren't so lucky, unfortunately, and some people can go through really unimaginable kinds of things where they're subjected to these types of, very violent situations, as children too. When you're totally helpless, and then people in power, totally abuse their power, and in that process abuse you. Like, it's so this is the Knight of Pentacles. This is very stable energy. This is an offer coming to you. This is someone who is sort of it reminds me, so like when I pull up this card, it reminds me of obviously someone on horseback, and they're circling, they're circling a situation, maybe 100 times, 1,000 times. They're checking something out. Here with the Two of Swords. Five of Pentacles. We saw this last night. So this is being left out in the cold. Here with the Six of Coins. There might be someone who overlooked something. Overlooked a gift. Overlooked someone's generosity. Took it for granted, maybe. Let's see. Four of Cups. We saw this actually last night as well in my reading. So there's repetition here. I love seeing repetition. Excuse me. So this is a card of disappointment, but like not necessarily disappointment or in the sense that you're like presently disappointed. This is like stuck in the past disappointed. This says someone who can't get out of their own way, who is too stubborn to see a different perspective, who has had opportunities and they chose not to go with those opportunities because they're too stuck up on what has happened. So there's regret for sure with the Five of Pentacles and Four of Cups. So maybe someone's very regretful. Not very. There's a mistake. It's a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. Death. Yeah, here she is. Scorpio. Everyone does go on the ground eventually. So this is very transformative energy. Here with the Ten of Pentacles and Strength, this is very grounded, spiritual, transformative kind of energy. So someone does have the capacity to change and change for the better. But will they? Six of Cups. Yeah, so Six of Cups is like a very romantic card. So here with the King of Cups and Six of Cups, there's vulnerability. So someone sees you. Someone sees you for who you really are, and they understand as well. And they just love you more for it. And like, that almost like brings me to tears. But when you go through stuff like this, and it's very difficult to get over, and you think you're more like unlovable, because of it, And everyone in this world goes through this type of stuff regardless. The degree of it varies highly. It's like someone might feel this kind of shame from maybe their mother telling them not to eat so many cookies, and like, oh, you're gonna body shame me now, and then like making a huge deal out of that, and then just locking themselves into the room. And then some other people might go through these types of situations where they are maybe touched inappropriately as a child, and their parents weren't aware and never protected them. And there's a degree of this feeling of shame for sure, but it's everyone has this experience. But with that being said, there's someone here that sees you, even if you've been through this, and they just love you more for it. So transformative. And it's hard, like, Nine of Swords. So there's definitely betrayal, victimization, awful situations. Someone also circling, maybe there is predation here as well with the Knight of Pentacles and the Two of Swords with this Nine of Wands. There's something predatory about this. This Knight of Pentacles has been circling the situation. And maybe they want to give you an offer because they think that you're for them, but you're really not. You're just vulnerable to the situation. With the Nine of Swords, it's very intense. I'm going to read this in the reverse since we have the Nine of Swords out. So this is someone who, it kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie Savages with Blake Lively, who's very politically, like, pop culture relevant right now with her case going on with what's his face, I don't even know his name, Justin something, I think. And it was about these two drug dealers in California prior to anything becoming legal, and then the Mexican cartel, where Salma Hayek was actually the boss of everything, was trying to get in on whatever their territory was. And she had this second in command guy who ends up kidnapping Blake Lively. And then while he has her, he was like in charge of monitoring her and like taking care of her and all that stuff while she was locked up for, I don't know, God knows how long. And he also drugged her and raped her. That's like a very advantageous kind of thing here with the Two of Swords. Like, this could be very advantageous, opportunistic energy. Opportunistic is the better word. And Blake didn't even realize it. And so, like, there's that other story that recently in France, how she was married to this guy for 30 years. I think it was actually 50. No, maybe it was like 30. It was she was in her 70s. And he was drugging her and then bringing strangers he met off the internet into their home and then raping her while she was drugged up. And she had all these health issues, and she had no idea what was going on with her health. And because she thought she was in a monogamous relationship, she never got tested for anything. So it ended up she had like these, like, you know, she had some sort of STD or something like that, and she had like her cervix was like, you know, she had tons of, you know, medical issues on the OBGYN front. So this is kind of what this energy reminds me of, is very predatory, someone who knows that someone who also knows that they're predatory and knows in the realm that they operate. And for females, like, you really have to be careful with who you even converse with, because a lot of men have these kind of predatory perspectives on how females operate, and they can kind of, like, if you're a younger female as well, they can predict how you are going to react. Yeah, there's something disgusting here for sure. So, like, there's a point in that movie with Savages where Blake Lively spits on the guy who had raped her when she realizes that he had raped her. And he takes it. He takes the spit off his face. And he licks it with both his fingers. And just, like, disgusting. Like, I hate to laugh, you know, I'm sorry to laugh, but there's definitely, with the 9 of Swords here and 2 of Swords, like, that's just what resonates with me at this point in time. Ten of Swords, yeah, so there's definitely, like, so this totally changes, like, 10 of Swords here. There's someone's gone through hell, and while this is still relevant, like, maybe drugs are an issue for someone, maybe someone has been dealing drugs as well, and like, everything does come out in the wash, and it's kind of like, it's funny because, like, as we look at this, it progresses further and further, and, like, do you have the strength to transform your life and overcome all of this? Like, maybe you have been sexually assaulted before, maybe you have been abused as a child, maybe you have, you know, found your way through black market kind of situations, and that's your reality, that's what you know. But it's a toxic lifestyle. It's bad for you innately. Like, there's no benefit to putting yourself in that kind of situation, to putting other people in that kind of situation. And, like, you know, I'm very, you know, happy to whatever, what's the word? Like, very, like, maybe it's like goody two shoes to say. And, like, someone's like, well, I need to survive. Like, I don't have enough money to, you know, like, I'm left out in the cold here. Like, I don't have anything, to keep me going. And so they resort to black market kinds of ways, but it's the wrong direction. Yeah, someone may have made a mistake here for sure, and now they're stuck in this situation. So, like, you hear about, like, kids getting arrested, like, you know, young kids, like, whatever, 18, 19, 20, getting arrested for dealing drugs. But, like, usually the 18, 19, 20-year-old isn't, like, you know, the culprit. They're just, like, the middleman in the situation, and they're being given the drugs by, or, you know, or sold the drugs by someone higher up and more experienced. And there's always that, there's, like, in the black market, there's always someone higher up. You know, unfortunately. And so say no to drugs. The Empress. But amidst all that, oof. This is like life's greatest test that someone just had to go through here. And they have the experience, knowledge, you know, everything that they could possibly need. And they also have a muse here with the Empress. So the Empress is every queen in the deck. Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. So she's mastered all the other suits. This is the ultimate divine feminine energy, and there's a muse here for someone, someone very inspirational, and maybe they wish they weren't, they sometimes people just can't see it any other way. It's their way or the highway. They can't see it any other way. And a lot of very macho, there's not a lot of macho energy right now. There's someone who is, in terms of masculine, there's a divine feminine here for sure, especially with strength as well. There's divine feminine here on the table. But the King of Cups and King of Pentacles, like this is someone like caught in their feelings, who's been maybe circling the situation for too long, looking at things for too long, thinking that it's too good to be true. And what's that saying? Like, you snooze, you lose. Yeah, you snooze, you lose. And so someone might be realizing that at this point, if you don't take action, but there's a desire to take action here. But there's just shit. There's so much shit. And so that's a tough, I'm gonna pull a little bit more cards just to see like what else I can come up with. Because I want, I just want to ramble mostly. Ace of Swords. What I'm saying is true. So there's predation here. There is being kind of not the victim, but having no other resources, but like the black market. There's black market behavior here. There's predation here. Because someone's also like too stuck up on their past, but with that there's also someone who loves you more for it. Even if you're doing like, assholey stuff or delinquent stuff right now, someone still loves you. It doesn't matter to them. And you do have the strength to overcome this entire situation and charge ahead. Let's see. Yeah, oh my God, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't usually pull more cards than that. Everyone changes. King of Pentacles. And so this is the king of stability, of abundance, of Virgo energy, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Great to see, this lovely king out here. I always compare him to my father, who is in fact a Virgo. And it's just, being very attentive, being very, like, your capability to listen. And there's a stoicism as well, like sitting there, taking it all in and then deciding, or then speaking your part, like being comfortable enough with yourself to also allow other people to go first. The Wheel of Fortune. See, things are getting so interesting. It's coming back around. It is coming back around. It's divine karma, or it's not only divine karma, but it's also like spiritual cyclicalism. So like, how I was talking in the beginning of this video, how every spring the magnolias, cherry blossoms, forsythia, tulips, daffodils are the first to bloom. And we can count on that every year. There's a sureness to here. There's a fixedness. There's something that's recurring, and it's also blowing over at the same time. The Lovers. So that's nice to see. King of Wands. Oh, so here are our knight in shining armors all out here. I think we have 3 kings out now. I'm gonna pull one more of this because I pulled 2 of everything else. Very charming, charismatic. Huh. Knight of coins again. Maybe there's someone who's more powerful than you and whoever you're dealing with who has insight on the situation. With the lovers here too, this is like divine love. So it's just crazy, like with tarot and just the interpretation of reality. So for example, divine love is like Romeo and Juliet, King Kong and Anne. These really great stories that, you know, great literature that gets passed on for ages. Like that, I forgot what, I think it was the Iliad where, oh my God, I forgot the exact, oh, man. It's been a long time since I've studied the Iliad, but the story that resonates is that there's some sort of captain general who went out and was gone for 10 years. Oh my God, I totally forgot. And like if you were to say his name right now, I'd like it would really resonate. And then his wife thought he was dead, and like the tradition in ancient wherever was to beat your chest and also clot it until you bleed. I'm pretty sure it was ancient Greece. But there's definitely like that's a divine love situation, like in that particular, like in the Iliad or the Odyssey, in Romeo and Juliet, King Kong, like this really classic character literature that everyone in the world is more or less aware of, from 2 different worlds. But there's a masculine here, a kind masculine. Yes, a kind masculine. Who sees the situation for what it is. Open to interpretation. Oh, let's get a couple more. Page of Wands, so communication. It gets very overwhelming when you like read with so many cards. 8 of Swords, so definitely like someone being caught up in their past trauma. Page of Cups. And also someone who's just starting to negotiate their EQ. Huh. Naivety. Maybe someone's been too naive too. When, like, the thing is, like, when you go, like, you're not naive, like, people have just beaten, you know, this reminds me of Game of Thrones. What was his name? He was, oh man. He was, like, kind of like a vagabond and, like, loved having sex with hookers and, all that. And then I don't know I forgot the names. Sansa, like Sansa was like Gregory, and then Gregory's like, I forgot, like the evil one, but he had that helper who like had to go mute, and then he was like tortured and beaten so much that he just like wouldn't even like stand up for himself. Oh man, I forgot. But that's okay. everything's gonna work itself out, and people get karma for sure. Like that's like when you think that you can just like pull the wool over people's eyes all the time, like there are checks and balances everywhere, and if you piss enough people off, like you will be corrected by the general public. So there's a saying I think in Yiddish where if you're at a party and two people are telling you that you're drunk, sit down. So it's someone also just being so overwhelmed by everything that they've been through, where maybe they're not operating in their fullest, most enlightened capacity. They're still on survival mode. This is one of my longest readings, but you just have to be very careful. And if you go looking, like, let's say there's that graph, like, fuck around and find out, like, the more you fuck around, break rules, disrespect people, like, you do find out. And if you want to go life, reckless, go through life recklessly, that's totally your choice, and a lot of people do. But when you live recklessly for long enough, you get corrected. Everyone gets corrected. So someone's been corrected here too. There maybe even like a predator of some sort. Like the community is looking at someone and they've been corrected.